And yeah, so this, how do you receive this reverse pair? So something is like, okay, so let's go to the first first try to understand the problem statement. Date is today like 3rd, no, 4th March. Okay, so this is okay. Now, yeah, so let's make little light condition would be better. Okay, so yeah, I think it's now visible. And yeah, so let me try to understand the problem first. Okay, so reverse problem is like reverse pairs. So in this problem, like a question is to find the all such pair. So given integer array nums, return the number of all reverse pair in the array who have two attributes who are satisfying two conditions. And the condition is, so I have to return all such pairs of index. So you have to find all pairs of I comma j in such a way that their attributes they will follow such that they will follow the two below mentioned condition, right? Condition, and they are like 1. So 0 is less than equal to I is less than j is less than nums dot length, and second is nums of I is less than sorry, not less than, it's greater than 2 into nums of j. Okay, the condition, let me repeat again. Condition is something like I is less than j and nums of I is greater than 2 into nums of j. Okay, so you have to find all the such pair, correct? Now, okay, to understand better, let's go to the few example here. So example 1 is you have a given input nums which is 1 3 2 3 1. Okay, so this is the array having 5 element, and so how do you find it? So the brute force approach is, I will put one pointer here, I will put one pointer here, then I will start from here. I will check 1, is this? No, so it is not following, right? I will check this. Okay, order of pair doesn't matter. Is there anything? Return the number of pairs in the array. That was not mentioned, that order of pair is pair matters or not. But for now, I'm just trying to understand. Just understanding it doesn't matter. Let's assume that this does not matter. And in that case, I have a P1 pointer and P1 pointer P2, and I will compare. Is this following? No. So I will switch to P2 here. So 1 and 3. Is it? So index wise 0 is less than 1, 2, 3. Yes, it is. So this is condition met. Then value is greater than 2 into 3. Is it? No, it is not met. So the condition is not met, and so this is not the right. We are not finding anything right here, right? So let's not make sure that this is not the case. Okay. Then you go to the here, go to next, check it. No. Same way. No. So this is not the case. Okay. So I have done with this. We could not find it. Now I find it here. 3 and 1. So 1 index is 1. 1 is less than 4. That's correct. 0 1 2 3 4. Yes. 1 is less than 4. That's correct. And 3 is greater than 2 into 1. This is also correct. So both condition is correct. So 1 comma 4 is the one index you found, one pair of index you found, which would be your answer. Okay, so that thing you found. Then again we will search. We already found everything here. So then 3 and 1. Okay, 3 3 no there is no possibility, and 3 2 is also not possible. Then 2 1 is not possible. Then again 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is the condition. I believe 3 is less than 4, and the value, this value is also 3 is greater than 2 into 1. So these both conditions are correct, and then I would say that this is also your solution. So these two solutions you will found. So answer would be 2. Answer would be 2, and pair is these two, 1 4 and 3 4. Similarly, you have example 2 also, and you will see that the same way you will get the answer. So in my opinion, like brute force, which will give you order of n square, right? Time complexity is order of n square, and the space complexity here is order of 1, because I'm not taking any extra space as such, right? But if you look at the constraint, now let's go to the constraint area. So in constraint, you can see that n is almost 5 into 10 to the power. So constant here is n is 5 into 10 to the power 4 less than equal to 1. Okay, so on the higher node, this order of n square is equivalent to 2.5 into 10 to the power 9, which is really worst time complexity, and it is not permissible. So this problem definitely not a brute force solution. Okay, now what you will do next? So trying to find the pair is not optimal way you are doing in brute force. So try to find some way in which you will able to find this pair, like these two pair index, in such a way that it will cover within the time complexity either order of n or order of n log n, right? So that is the best way you can achieve. So let's go to, let's dive a little deeper to understand some better approach. Okay, so the next thing is, let's discuss the improved approach. The first approach we already discussed, that is the brute force approach. But the second thing which I am looking for right now is improved approach. So what exactly we have to do? Let's go to the writing pad. So on writing pad, let me share you the first half I am selected. So in the first half, I will try to give you intuition. So what is this intuition here? So let's try to find some intuition here. So in this problem, what exactly have to do? We have to find pair index from given array. Such a way that the first thing is your first index I should be less than position j, right? Index j, and that is giving me some intuition. So the first condition is to met I is less than j, right? And if you little deep dive, can you think about any sorting logic where you can do you are welcome back. So in today's series, I will try to again solve another lead code challenge, and this problem number is this problem is 57, right? And the heading of this problem is insert interval. So okay, so today is, let's connect it and make something here. Pen color is black. That's okay. Okay. So yeah, so today is 25th, and I have to build this let's try to understand the problem. This is called insert interval. Okay, so as per the problem, this problem is earlier asked in Google, Apple, Amazon. So that's I think the quality of problem might be good. Okay, so let's go ahead. So the problem statement, let me read for you. So you are given an integer, let me highlight also so that you can able to read. So you are given an array of non-overlapping intervals, intervals where intervals I is equal to, so intervals of I is equal to start of I comma end of I. Okay, so this is what the array of interval is given. You are also given intervals start or end. Okay, you are also given interval new interval. You are also given an interval new interval start comma end, that represents the start and end of another interval. Okay, so there are two intervals given. One is interval I, where start I or end I represent the start and end of ith interval, and intervals is sorted in ascending order. So one is set of intervals given which is sorted in ascending order by start I. You are also given interval new interval start or end that represent the start and end of another interval. Okay, insert new interval into intervals such that you need to insert new interval into the intervals such that the final interval is still sorted in ascending order by start I and end I, and intervals still does not have any overlapping intervals, merge overlapping intervals if necessary. So okay, so and return intervals after this insertion, after the insertion. So one thing very much sure is here, by looking this problem itself and by reading these many lines of statement, we can easily identify that your intervals is given in some sorted order, right? And whenever, if you remember earlier in my video, in one of my video, I already told you that whenever you have a sorted data, your friend will be binary search. Linear search will not help you. There you need to think about the binary search whenever you have a sorted data. And here also, if you observe carefully, they already saying you that your data intervals, given intervals are in ascending order. This one, your intervals is sorted in ascending order by start time. So as the basis of, on the basis of start value, this given intervals are in sorted order. And this is a big clue for you that, hey, you just have to think that there is a chance that there is a, large possibility of using binary search in this problem. So this is one aspect, and you have to note down somewhere, okay? So maybe binary search will be helpful here. Binary search will be helpful here, will be helpful as per coding pattern. Okay, so this is one thing you should be marked down. Okay, now let's try to understand examples. Let's try to understand the example. So example given is, okay, example 1. So you have input, right? You have input, and this input is intervals is equal to 1, 3, 6, 9. And this is the given intervals, which is primarily sorted. So you can verify it like 1 and 6. These are in sorted order. And also these two intervals are non-overlapping. That is also you must note it here. So your intervals is sorted on the basis of start time and also non-overlapping. So the second thing is non-overlapping. Okay. Now, so and the new interval which I was talking about, new interval also given, which is 2, 5. So what you do, let me see. So here is your initial interval given, which is 1, 3 and 6, 9. Okay, and here is new interval given, which need to be merged in this interval. Now if I merge it, these two intervals here, now you have to see. Now 1, 3, I can merge this, but once I put it here, I can quickly realize that now this and this. So I can insert it, that's okay. But then I have to check now. That is there any interval is overlapping. Now if you look this and this interval, you can, these two intervals are overlapping. These two intervals are overlapping. And so what you do, as per problem statement, I have to merge these two intervals. Okay, and so my final value would be, a, and so my final would be 1, 5 and 6, 9. This is my final interval. This is my answer of example 1. So you have to merge both intervals, like there is a original intervals and I have a new intervals into the system, which I have a new interval. This is your new interval and this is old, right? Original. I have to merge it, these two intervals together. When I have included that new interval into this interval, I can quickly realize that there is a overlapping case. And so there is a overlapping case. Here is overlapping, right? And so once I identified that this is overlapping, my job is to merge these two intervals together. Okay, if there is a merge. But first thing is it should be in sorted order, right? That is one first priority. And merge this interval, and after merging it, this becomes again 1 to 5. This is 1 to 5 and 6 to 9. This is your answer. This is your final answer. So this is example 1, right? Let's go ahead with another example. Okay, so there is a given another example, and I would go with this example actually. So this example is, so example 2. Okay, example 2. Let's go back to standard pen color. Okay, so here again, like intervals given, I should not write now the full. So here it is given 1, 2, then 3, 5. Please note that this is as per problem. This is given in sorted order based on start time, and then also no one is overlapping at this point. Okay, so if you just verify your input 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 16. So no one is overlapping, and it is also sorted according to a start time. Now there is a new interval which is supposed to be integrated with this interval, and so the new interval, when I insert it, so after inserting these two, what should be your interval list? 3, 5, okay, then it will comes 4 8, then it comes 6 7, then it's got 8 10, then it's called 12 16. Okay, now if you look this thing, so this 4 is also overlapping with this also overlapping with this, and what about this also overlapping with this. Okay, this also overlapping with this, and so these all are overlapping, and so your output would be 1 2, sorry, 1 2, then 3 comma 10, which is primarily all these are integrated, I mean merged together, and then 12 16. This is your answer. Any doubt? So I've not changed pen color, but if you choose it, probably, yeah, so this is here, this is also overlapping with this is also overlapping with this, and so finally you will see that these all four need to be merged together, and so this is merged here 3 to 10, and this is your answer. So only 3 elements left now, and because the new interval 4 8 overlaps with 3 5 6 7 and 8 10, you have to deal with this property. Okay, okay, yeah. Now so problems seems to be understanding, I mean I believe that you will able to understand problem by now. Okay, so the only thing now left is, okay, let's not, and it is also like I already mentioned somewhere earlier that since your data is sorted, so you have a big hint, for using binary search in this problem, right? As per pattern only, I already earlier mentioned that whenever you have a data in sorted order, there in that problem your friend is binary search. So this is the standard way, but we have to still verify that is this really solving your problem by going through example. For now, let's assume that it may help you. Okay. So as I explained you, after merging these things, I mean these intervals, you will get, and your final output would be, output is equal to, the first interval is 1 comma 2, the second interval is 3 comma 10, and fourth interval is 12. So the two conditions which should be met, and the one is sorted interval, which is exactly, it is showing that it is a sorted interval, and the second is no interval is overlapping. Okay, so no interval is overlapping. So these two are very important, and both are followed here, right? Exactly, the both are I mean coming the way I was thinking. So that's the correct explanation here. Apart from this, okay, so next thing is, let's discuss the constraint now. Like these are the two examples, rest all example I will introduce later as much as possible. So maybe we can do as an example for our test or verification that kind of this. So assume one example is here, like let me introduce another example here. Okay, so example 3, you have a given interval which is 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 3, 3 comma 4, and not this actually, just because this is not a right example. Okay, this is not a right example, so you just erase this, because I mean initial data set, initial set of given intervals should not, I mean, be like that. Do not, I mean, he has to follow certain rules which is decided by them. Okay, so each intervals must be independent in this case. Please understand this. This is the most required feature. Okay, and then 6 7, so 7 and 9. Okay, okay, now suppose you have to introduce such a way one interval which is 5 and 7. Okay, so what is happening here that this 5 is overlapped with what is happening here that what is happening, let's change the color so that you can understand it. Okay, so let's see this 5 and this 7. 5 is overlapping with this, and 7 is overlapping with this, right? So this is 7, this is 7 here. Now when we merge these two, when we merge these two, it will be 1 comma 2, 3 comma 5. So 3 comma 5 is concluded in 3 to 7 and 7 to 9, so 3 to 9. Okay, this is your answer, right? You can verify it on pushing here. So just insert some test case here and check it. For compilation you can put this, and here yeah, so just introduce one test case from your side, and here you can write this test case from your side, and 1 2, and the second interval I will give them 3 and 5, and third interval I will give here 7 comma 9. Okay, and then I have to introduce new interval which is primarily 5 to 7. Okay, so 5 to 7. Now if I run this, what would be the output? Let me check. So don't be overwhelmed with this. So this case is okay, but output should be 1 2 and 3 9. Okay, so if you look at this screen as of now, you can easily say that this would be your output, right? So this would be your output, and this is what I was also telling you. So by this way you can create your method, you can create your own test case to verify it. Okay, and this is very much required. People are doing it, but they are not sharing these skills to the person who are following you. So that's why I thought that let's share it, because this is the way you can create your own test case in LeetCode portal, and which will help you to recognize your coding issues if there anything exists in your implementation, right? That is the way you are learning here, and that is the way you will do, and it will help you to increase your coding implementation quality also. So you can create as many test cases possible here itself in this portal, and you can verify your logic. Like the important thing here is to verify your assumption, your logic, what exactly you are understanding in problem, and is this your assumption or understanding is right according to this problem or not. Such things you should validate by using this. Okay, let's move on. And what else I have to do here now? The next thing is, so I have this example, and I can create some more example also later as per the constraint. So let's discuss now the constraint actually. So constraint of problem. Okay, so let's discuss the constraint now. Constraint here is, okay, so I can bring here. So the constraint here is yeah, so okay, yeah, so constraint, let me write on the press page. So constraint of your problem, and we will decide later like what constant can be constituted as a verification test case also. So it is saying that your intervals length would be 0 to 10 to the power 4. So this is 1 0 intervals dot length, and this is 10 to the power 4. Okay, this is first constant. Okay, so each intervals is like pair of this, right? So intervals I dot length would be, this equal to 2 only. Okay, if you want, so this equal to 2 only, right? The third is, this is first constant, this is second constant. The third constant here is you can do like 0 to start I and less than equal to end I, and your end would be greater. So here you can see the condition here, like start I would be in range of 0 to end I, and end I would be in the range of start I to 10 to the power 5. So this is at least this should be followed here. The fourth constant given in the problem is intervals are sorted by start I, okay, in ascending order. Okay, so this is what the fourth statement is there, fourth constant is there. Now fifth constant is interval dot length is 2, which is already I covered, and fifth is also a start and end is perfect, it is already covered. So yeah, so you don't need, okay, just remove this one, no need. And anything else, no. So this much is the your your understanding, and then this need to be, so let's prepare the one let's copy this part in your ID actually. Okay, so build your environment now. I will come back again. It's okay. So maybe I was closed my ID forcefully, that's why it is giving this issue, but I hope that it will recover and give me my solution back. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So these are the real problems I did. So I just have to create one, and this problem is based on array, right? It is a list of something. So I can consider this. What is this? Resharper keyword. Okay. Anyway, so yeah. So I will take this, and here I can. Accept this. Okay. Okay, okay, that's okay. Yeah, so let's build it. For now I think I'm learning different, not dot trace. That was the I've installed dot trace in the morning. Okay, so I'm just creating new item for my learning. Okay, and I will go to here. The question name is 57, and problem is insert interval dot cpp. So this is the lead code problem. Just copy one thing, do one thing, copy any extended code, clean the code, and just make so just clean the other part of code which is not relevant to this problem. This also solution need to be cleaned, so I will clean this also, and okay, so this much, and solution class we need to copy from this insert interval. Okay, so now your glue code is ready. I mean, bare minimum requirement is met here. I can just create structure and I can write to like TBD here. So whatever the solution you have to write here itself. Okay, so by that way, okay, so TBD to be done. Okay, so let's go back again the your writing pad, and let's try to little more thought. So earlier, if you remember, I was in saying that since there are two clue here, one is that your interval clue, your interval is shorted. So if you want to find the right position for new interval, then you don't need to traverse the complete list linearly, right? You can find the position by just looking the right position using binary search tree, Okay, so this is the one big clue here. The second clue here is if you look at the so maximum number if possible 10 to the power 4, right? And maximum number is possible 10 to the power 4, and the range, I mean start and range is 10 to the power 5. Okay, so it means that if you proceed and verify okay, so if you can proceed and verify here, so one thing is that, right, clue is here, correct? So one clue is definitely a binary search for using binary search. Yeah, that is correct. What else I have to think? So how you can merge, like another is like merge the interval if overlapping with any interval. But how you will do it? And for that purpose, what should we do? So what should be your approach in this case? So for example, let's go back to the example again. Let's go back to the example again, right? So let's come back to the example again. So here are our examples. Now just look this series again. Okay, so this is the interval given, and this interval, new interval, this is your new interval, right? If you remember, this is your new interval. So this new interval 5, 7, I have to look for using the binary search. So I will see that where I can fit the 5. So let's say first thing is that there are 3 elements and the position is 1, 3 and 7. So I will go for mid. Now here I check this 5 is equal to this midpoint, is mid interval start, yeah, right? So I have to just compare first mid interval, this position start with this 5. Now in this case, what is happening here, that this 3 is less than 5. That means in interval we have some, our right position is something right of this index. So I will go for position this and end, which is, by the way, this is only. So then after that I will check, okay, what is your position here? I would say that 7 is bigger than 5, right? So it means that until this point I'm very much sure, because now this 5 is not less than this and not less than this. Once I get it, I will insert that, okay, something here in this position I can put this interval. 5 to 7 could be my third location, right? So 0, 1, 0, 1 and 2, second location, yeah, sorry, second position, by the way. So I will, what we do here is, this is just a logical understanding, logical insertion, and this is 1, 2, this is 3, 5, and then 5, 7, and then 7, 9. Now what I have to do is, I will just try to check my left and my right, okay, because this is a sorted, please note down, this is a sorted, that's why you can only check your left and right. Okay, so this is what I can do. So I will check my right, and I will say that, okay, what we should do here? So I can check my right. I will see that, okay, 7 is overlapping with next interval. My end point is overlapping, my end is overlapping with this, right, where I am. Okay, so my end point is overlapping. What happened? Okay, so is this, yeah, so my end point, this is overlapping. These two are overlapping, right? I can easily identify. Same way, I can see that this start point, let's change the color. So I can easily say that this start point, yeah, and this is also overlapping. And there is a possibility, please note it, that there is a possibility that you can get the further also, right? So you may have this kind of situation where you can see that it is overlapped with all the things. By just looking this, understanding this example, I got another test case in my mind. Let me go for that. But here is like, since I found it, so my ideal situation here is I have to merge all these 3. So I merged it. Then again I will try. What should I do? So 3 to 9 is there. Now again I will check. On the right of 9, nothing is there, leave it. On left 3, can I see that, is there any overlapping with the left? No. So I will stop here, right? So I will stop here. Once I found the breaking condition, we should stop here and return. And by this way, how much effort you can read. So I may need only n log n. So this comparison is order of n, and then log n for binary search. So my answer would be n log n. Or no. This log n is plus, right? This is plus, not this thing, not order of Lego. Order of n plus log n, which is primarily equal to order of n. So order of n is okay solution for this because of that reason, right? So order of n. But I'm not convinced yet. That this is the final solution. Let me try to think more. Okay, I was saying you that I got another example here. Let me introduce another example here, and that example maybe. So what are that example? Okay, so merge the interval and overlapping with any interval. I'm saying that this is possible, but let's go to another example. Let's create another example here. So I'm saying that let's take one example. Example 4. So as much as you deep dive, you will see that your understanding will growing, right? So that is how you should do your coding problem. That is how you should do, right? So example 4 here is, suppose you have 3, 5, this is one interval. Another interval is 6 and 7. Then another interval is 9 and 10, like that, okay? And new interval, new interval here is 1 to 12, okay? So as per your steps, whatever you mentioned, what you do here, you just first do the binary search and try to find the location of 1 in this interval. By using this binary search concept, you can find that you can insert this at this place, 0th place, right? Because you try to accommodate that new things anywhere in this series, and you will realize that, okay, 0th place is the right location. So you will find the reason of that, location of that, and you can insert like this. Now by inserting this, you can quickly realize that you get the overlapping, interval overlapping now in this series. After including this new interval in this final, you will quickly understand that there is a conflict, there is overlapping here. So there is a overlapping here. I hope earlier is not visible to me. That's why I'm changing the color here. Okay, right. So you can see that this 112 is overlapping with 3, 5. Even it is overlapping with 6, 7. It is overlapping with 9, 10. Right. So how you will proceed? Left side, nothing. So I can just start seeing that, is this and is bigger than 3? Yes, it is bigger than 3. So first you check, is 1 is less than 3? Yes, it is less than 3. Is 12 is greater than 5? Yes, it is greater than 5. So this will include inside here. So the next step would be 112 will merge with these two are merged, right? After that, you have this one. Again, you will check. Again, you will check. Can 112 and 67 is overlapping? Yes, it is overlapping. Again, you can merge it, and you will see that this is your 6, 7 also. No, not 6, 7, sorry. 9 and 10 now. Okay, this is the only left. Again, you will see that this is overlapping, and you will eventually find that I have only 1 and 10. 1 and 12 is your final interval in merged list. This is sorted also, and this is no overlapping with any other interval. So this is your answer. Okay, this is your answer. So these kind of test cases also possible. You can verify it on here. If you put this, the third case, just introduce third case here, and just put 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9, 10. 3, 5, 6, 7, 3, 5, 6, 7. So these are the things you should do when you are writing your code. You should always do this thing, because this is the way you can get the right answer and right understanding, I would say. 112. Okay, so in this case also, when you do this thing, you can quickly see that in fourth case, now your single interval is 1 to 12 as an output, right? If you see the fourth one, you can see that this is your fourth, right? This is 1 to 12. So this is what I'm saying, that you can write your test case, always add here, so that when you create your implementation, you do not have to go through with those kind of conditions, right? And usually you should do it, because this is a practice. If you do it, and like if you are in industry, definitely you should write this as a unit test cases, right, for your implementation verification. Here in this portal, they have provided the environment for you, but when you are writing your own code, you have to write your own test case before actual implementation. That is what I was saying, that this TDD, test driven development, is very important for verifying or for automating your complete implementation process. It is important, and please note it. This practice is very helpful to build your good habit and build your coding quality. Is also, like, by doing this, your coding quality will improve. That is, I'm definitely assuring you, your coding quality will improve day by day when you do this kind of things in practice. Okay, now, so enough discussion. I think for now, I believe that since time complexity maximum is order of n, I'm getting even after overlapping, though I can improve on it, but for a starting point of view, I think this is okay. This is okay. And even though we can't implement binary search, that is also okay in this case, because for search, if we do linearly, that would be order of n. And so one thing I'm seeing here that might be a problem, that okay, how we can improve this. So for now, like binary search and then merging or overlapping would require order of n for me, right? So is this a starting thing? Because length is 10 to the power 4. So even you merge it, this will give you the 10 to the power 4 only. So 10 to the power 4 is okay as far time complexity is concerned. And what should I say? And merging requires 2 units of work, start or end. By looking this thing, you can ideally merge it, right? What should we do? So I think yes, it is right. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on for implementation, the first level of implementation. Then we will see that if we can get some improvement, we will again go for writing pad, and we will try to get some improvement. Okay, back for now. Let's try to again focus on this part. So until this point, what we found? We found that here are 3 important points to look upon. So those points are: 1, how can we tell that the 2 interval is overlapping? So interval is overlapping. One thing is that. The second point, what exactly I'm doing here, let me share my viewer first, that I'm just trying to dissect my big problem to a small problem. So big problem is, I have a given big interval, 1 interval, and intervals, I would say intervals, and then and that intervals is in sorted order on the basis of a start of interval, right? And you have another interval, which is new interval with a start and end, and you have to just include this new interval into the intervals, so that it will impact as a intervals in sorted order, as well as no intervals are overlapping to each other. That is what your problem is. So what I'm trying to say, that what I'm trying to do here is, I'm just dissecting that big problem into a small problem, so that with the help of these small sub problems, we can achieve the big problem, the solution to big problem, right? So how can we tell that 2 interval is overlapping? That is the one thing. Second thing is, how to merge 2 overlapping intervals. What you do with after finding of 2 overlapping interval, you have to merge it, right? That is what the problem is saying. So you have to check how to merge 2 overlapping intervals. So this is another problem, sub problem. And third is, given a list of intervals in ascending order, given a list of intervals in ascending order, how to insert this new interval into this intervals so that it will maintain the, so how to insert your new merged interval into given intervals so that the property of interval should be the property of your given intervals intact, meaning here sorted on the basis of start, and second is no overlapping intervals. Okay, so if these two are maintained and you able to insert it, done, your task is done, and your answer is to just return this list to in your problem. That is what you're supposed to do here, right? So now let's try to understand one by one how these problems will work. I mean, how to merge two intervals. Okay, so the first question is how to check that two interval is overlapping or not. Okay, so yeah, so let's say you have just as an example, like take the example from your problem only. So let's take the example of your problem only. Go back, yeah, and let's see this problem only. Now 112, is this overlapping with 35? Okay, is this overlapping with 35? So yes, it is overlapping. Are you sure? Yeah, yes, it is overlapping. How do you know? So if you see that this complete so 3, 5 and 1, 2, 12 is both interval is overlapping. Okay, so where I'm writing, I think this is creating wrong place. So let me go through again. I think I should not write here. Because this will create wrong. Yeah, so let's go back. Okay, so I will write here. Okay, I will write here. So suppose you have 3, 5 and 1, 2. Okay, now you have to check that does these two intervals, does given interval is overlapping. How do you do? So let's say I have a 1 to 12 range here, and this is 3 to 5. Okay, 3 to 5. Now this is definitely going to, because this is overlapping, right? These two are overlapping here and here, right? So this is the overlapping. Yes, it is. Yes, it is overlapping. It is overlapping. Okay. Another case. Suppose you have 1, 2 and you have 2, 3. Is this overlapping? Yes, it is overlapping here. Okay. This is yes. Yes, this is also overlapping. Yes, this is also overlapping. Similarly, do one thing more, like this also check. Is this so okay? So another thing is so this is also another condition where these values are like a smaller value and bigger value, range value. So but this can't be a right condition. These kind of things is possible, yeah? No, because this can't be possible, because this case won't be possible. No, this case also possible. Sorry, this case is also possible. So I would say in this case also this is overlapping, right? This is overlapping. So this is overlapping, and this is also overlapping condition. So these are few things you can do, and yeah, these all are okay. So this one thing maybe then this is like this. So again, this is overlapping kind of condition. So this is also overlapping condition. So your job here is to find somehow algorithm for finding the right way to identify the algorithm. Okay, so this is what you should able to find it. How you will do it? what is the best way to write some algorithm to identify that two interval is overlapping or not? So in my opinion, if I have to write, then I have to write it here like if if min of, say for example, I have a1 comma b1 and a2 comma b2, min of a1 b1 comma b2 minus max of a1 comma a2. If this value is greater than equal to 0, then overlapping. Give some time to yourself to understand your logic here. I'm saying that, and just go back and check here. Like in this case, say for example, in this case, let's bring this back paper now. And in this case, what is that? Minimum of 5 comma 12. What is this minimum? 5. And maximum of 3 comma 1. What is that? 3. Now this is greater than 0. Yes, it is. And so you are saying that it is overlapping, and that is what I'm getting from this equation also. Let's look this example. This example. Say you have, or take this example, right? So 1, 2 and 2, 3. I'm saying that take the minimum of 2 comma 3, so which is 2, and minus take a max value of 1 comma 2, so this is 2, and this is greater than equal to 0. Now left side, if you check, this is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. So 0, it is getting 0, right? So again, even if it is 0, this is coinciding at single point, but it is overlapping, and that is what I'm also saying. So you will see that in conclusion, I'm just making here that most of the time this equation, like minimum of b1 comma b2 and max of a1 comma a2, will give you the overlapping condition perfectly. So please implement this very simple algorithm in your implementation. This is your overlapping condition for two interval. Please remember it and use whenever it is required. So this is one thing, but the condition here is intervals in sorted order. Please note that this will help you, because in that case only it is possible. Otherwise, do I need it? That is the question you should ask. Here it is already given in sorted order, but it won't require any such kind of blind condition. Any order you take and use this condition, you will feel that you have, for example, let me tell you again, let me show you this again to you. In this case, it is not sorted order. If you see this thing in this case like this, it is not sorted order, right? These two are not sorted order, because this 3, 5 is a1, b1 and a2, b2, and I'm saying that just take b1 and b2 minimum 5 and a1, a2 maximum, this is 3, and 5 minus 3 is greater than 0, which means interval is overlapping. So this is working fine. There is no problem at all. So okay, let's move on. So that's why one assumption is correct here. Okay, so let's move to the next problem now. Next sub problem is to how to merge two overlapping intervals, Okay, I'm just taking this second problem. Let's write the second problem. So my second problem here is how to overlap these two intervals. Okay, so how to overlap these two intervals. Okay, how to overlap these two intervals. So in this case, like welcome back, gentlemen. Let's create little light for yourself, and also you have to select this one. All right, so welcome back. Yeah, so how to overlap these intervals. Okay, not the how to overlap these, how to merge. So instead of this, how to merge these overlap intervals, these two overlapped intervals. So for that purpose, like say for example, how do you do it? So something like, suppose you have a1 and b1, this is one interval, and another interval is a2 and b2. Now if you want to merge it, so what you do, basically, so step one is to check their overlapping condition, check their overlapping state, and I'm assuming this is overlapped. So step 2 is just find min of a1 comma a2 and max of b1 comma b2. So this is your interval. Okay, this is very simple, very simple. So to more give to more, I mean, you have to find the minimum value of a1 a2. So just for understanding purposes, suppose a1 and b1, and there is another, say for example a2 and b2. So after merging this, what should you get? So like this. Okay, so your output might be this, or you can show this here, not here. You have to show this like here to here. Okay, so your final value is min of a1 comma a2 and max of b1 comma b2, right? Very simple. So this is your final merged interval, and this is the logic which I already explained you. This is the way you can overlap. So the second question is also solved now, how to merge two overlapping intervals. Okay, so now so two questions we answered. Third is, given a list of n intervals in ascending order of their start value, how we can merge possible overlapping intervals in the list, keeping in mind that they have to follow the same structure, like sorted, interval is sorted, and there is no overlapping, right? So these two should be followed. So how to solve the third question now? Just for our understanding, let's move to third question. So the question here again, third question, question number 3, you should ask here. Just change the color. Okay, so third question is, given a list intervals in ascending order of their start values, how can we merge possible overlapping intervals in the list, keeping the ascending order intact? Okay, so there are two criticality in this question, right? There are two. So let me highlight this criticality first. So one thing is that you have to merge. You have to merge, right? And also there is a chance of overlapping intervals is there, right? So merging and then third thing is to keeping the ascending order intact. So all these three need to be addressed in your analysis here, right? You have to address this question by making intact of these behaviors, right? By making the behavior of ascending order intact in your final list. How do you do it? So I may think that let's produce this in some different order, right? So let's try to understand. We can iterate, right? So we can iterate the list of intervals starting from 1, from index 1, meaning if your list have n intervals, then you have n minus 1 pair to check and merge if needed. Okay, so this logic may need order of n time complexity, since n value will be in the range of 10 to the power 4 only, so it will work. But later we may check the possibility of improvement. Now just can I write here the pseudocode? I mean for algorithm. So let's write the algorithm, not pseudocode, write algorithm. How do you write algorithm? Okay, so how do you check the algorithm of this approach? So algorithm will be like this. You can define a method, say merge overlapping intervals, then merge overlapping intervals, and then finally you can also think about so what should I do here? This is very simple, right? Merging is very simple. How to, so you iterate all n minus pair. So write one logic like merge interval. So parameter maybe vector of factor int. Okay, so like this is a input, maybe I would say list. Okay, then you just define the output, say again the vector and vector int output if, okay, if list dot empty is true, then you just have to return output which is maybe empty, no issue. If not then just create two methods, start and end, and just assign vector, so maybe list of 0 and 0, this is a start, and end will be list of 0 and 1. Okay, so this is your start and end is defined here, initialized here. Then after that you have to run for int I is equal to 1, I is less than n minus 1. So I is less than equal to n minus 1 and I plus plus. Okay, and you have to just okay, let me go through the next. Okay, so okay, yeah, so okay, and for now I have two important things. Let me go through the next page. Okay, next plan page. Okay, so so let me repeat from there only, right? Otherwise I will miss the logic. So I'm continued here. So for int I is equal to 1, I is less than equal to n minus 1. Please note that I plus n is your list size. Okay, n is your list size. So if n is not defined, you have to define it, or maybe so I have to take somewhere int n is equal to list dot size. Okay, so you have to define it also if it is not. And then what you do here is first you have to check the overlapping. First you have to check the overlapping condition, right? Okay. So first you have to check the overlapping condition. Okay, and then you just check like if there is no overlap. So for example, if there is no overlap, and that you have to so if list of I, which is 1, so list of I and 0. Okay, 0 is a start, but I have to check the so if the second start is okay, but yeah, so start and end is defined, you know, and then if this is greater than your earlier end, that means so that this end is already before it happened, right? Before this point it has happened. Let me see if am I able to capturing it? So something like if this is the point end of start of the second interval, and your previous interval end is already finished, if it is greater than, right? That's why that is the check. That means there is no overlapping, right? No overlapping. So this is the case of no overlapping. So if this is a case, means you don't have any overlapping in this case, right? In this case, merge intervals method will be again called, right? So in this case, your output vector, which is output vector, needs to push back. Okay, so it needs to push back the previous. So previous is start comma end. Okay, so done, and that's it. So you can just push it, and then you should update your start, okay, with the current interval start, and end is equal to your correct interval end. Perfect. And this is your if else. Else is the condition where you can say that okay, overlap condition. If there is overlap, then in that case you have to just update the end max, end comma list of I comma 1. Now please note here that I have not updated a start. Why? Because the problem is already saying that a start is in ascending order. So the minimum start, the previous interval start would be the minimum value. So you have nothing to worry. Just continue your updating the things, right? And that's it. So once you run this complete loop, after that, you have to only put the last interval in your push back here, okay? And so push back is something like start and end, that's it, okay? And so finally you have to return your output. That's it. This is the complete, you would say pseudo logic or you say algorithm, whatever you see. This is my, rough code here, right? So I can write this rough code and probably it will work. So this is the answer to your third question, that you have a given list, how to merge the overlapping intervals. Okay, so this much is there, and you just have to run the, okay, yes, so that's it. So now I have to go to the I should go to the IDE to implement this problem. Okay, let's go back to the, hold on. So yeah, sorry, let me repeat again. So in this step, what should I do? Like I have to add few more test cases from my side according to the constant. So constant is saying that the interval could be empty. So it means that there is a possibility of some test cases, okay, which have this value. New interval can be anything, but in this case my answer would be empty only. Okay, in our case empty, but let's see. Okay, so okay, yeah. So it is only possible if we should say that both are empty, right? That is what it is saying. Okay, so if this is also empty, then I would say okay, this is empty, right? Then output would be empty. So if this is also empty, like in this case, expected new interval have to have size. Okay, so if this is the case, right? If this is the case, that means, so new interval length must be equal to 2. This is very much correct. So if so, that means new interval, okay, new interval can't be empty. And so in that case, my answer would be 2 and 5, right? 2 and 5. So because this already there, right? So my answer would be, I will add this value into new interval. Okay, whatever the new interval is, my answer would be that. Okay, and that's why it is correct also, right? So in case of empty, you have to return the empty. So you just, put it like that way. Put it like that way. Now another test case I can make here is that this test case is not building the complete. So one additional test case another test case I should write here, where like 1, 3, 6, 9, and here you put something which is 1 and 9. Now in this case, what should you expect? I will expect that there is only one member output interval having only one member, and that would be 1 and 9, 1 comma 9, right? That is what you are expecting, right? That's correct. Yeah, so in our case also it is 1 comma 9, and this case also it is 1 comma 9 in my case, because I'm only adding new interval, right? That's why. Otherwise but that theory is there. Now another test case I will build here, and that test case is something like what else we have to build, what else I have to build here. So to handle this scenario, so all overlapping case I handled. Okay, all overlapping case I handled. Any negative case, let me go through again the constant. Let me go through again the constant. So this start and interval is sorted, new interval is this, and the start and end would be 0 to 10 power 5. So that's okay. Okay, so fair enough. Now I think if my implementation would handle all these 4 cases as per expected, that means probably my solution will work for that kind of solution. Okay, so let's move to now IDE. Okay, and then just check how to implement it. Okay, let's move to that. Now in this section, before going to IDE for coding, as I have listed down my 4-step process, this is the third step where I'm planning to, so this is your third A, the third A step where I'm planning to, okay, not here, let's build this. Okay, so So this is your third A point, and this point here is that create the skeleton of your overall solution. Create a skeleton of your overall solution structure. Okay, so what you have to do, what exactly you have to do? So as per our problem earlier, like I have to write one method where I can check the overlapping. The first thing is write one method for check the interval overlapping. The simplest way is for interval 1 and interval 2 as a parameter of some method, and then you have to you just need to verify, you just need to check their overlapping condition. Okay, and that was, if you remember, then difference between min of b1 and b2 minus max of a1 and a2, and if this difference is greater than or equal to 0, it means this is overlapping, and if not, then there is no overlapping, right? That is what you should do. So you write some method where you can check is overlapping kind of things. So may say is overlapping, and I would say vector int interval I1. Similarly, I would say vector int interval I2 into, and here I will check if int like this, min of int1 dot, or maybe 0, so not 0, 1, sorry, 1 comma int2 of 1 minus max of int1 of 0 comma int2 of 0. And this is, so if this is the difference, so this difference is greater than or equal to 0, that means return true, otherwise return false. Okay, so this is very simple method. And if you remember here, I take a little older slide, okay, here no, here I have defined this. So min of b1 comma b2 minus max of a1 comma a2. If this difference is greater than or equal to 0, then I would say, okay, this is condition of overlapping, otherwise no overlapping. So you just implement this method, that's it. Okay, so you can able to do the check in overlapping. Okay, so this is this one. So this is one interface. I will say this. The second thing, you have to, like, how to merge two interval. How to merge two interval in simplest way. How to merge. So okay, so I will return this like vector int, and I will say merge interval, and again I would say my interval 1, 2. Okay, so simply return min of int1 of 0 comma int2 of 0 and max of int11 comma int2 1. So if you remember the overlapping condition earlier shown to you, this is what you have to do, right? Correct? Am I right? Yes, I think so. Let me show you again. So yeah, so if you look at this diagram here, you can see that when it is overlapping, I have to take this minimum value of a1, a2 and maximum value of b1 and b2. This is what you are simply doing here. Okay, nothing else. Right? So in our this implementation also, we are just doing this, nothing else. Okay, so the second thing is this, and the third is, which is very important, and that third one is very important, to interval merging, right? Interval merging. Okay, so let's go back to another new page. So okay, now interval merging, yeah. So third interface is insert new interval in intervals in such a way so that it will intact the principle of your intervals, meaning your interval should be sorted according to start of interval. So here in this case there are two approach possible, right? One is using the linear search, and since it is a specific property here is since it is a sorted interval list, so your search could be binary search also instead of linear search. Got my point? Since it has a special property here, and so that's why here I can apply binary search also. To start from the simplest way, I will follow the linear search approach. I will follow first the linear search. So step 1 is this, and then later I can modify my code to achieve this binary search. Step 2 is just improvement. So improvement step. Okay. So linear search is simply like what you do here is I'm just going to return something. Okay. So return is this, right? Insert interval, and here you have original intervals and new interval. New interval. Okay. And after that, once you are done with this, I mean, what you do here is just use the so iterate until you found your new interval dot 0 less than original interval of 0. And once you found it, this is vector, right? So in vector you have to, it is better to create one I would say new two-dimensional vector and start inserting until you don't find it. So one by one you just insert like that, and once you found the right spot, instead of like moving, you just push your new interval here and then again continue for other things. That is one way, but I would say that this is not the right way. Instead of doing this, we should use some API of vector which will insert at certain location, and I believe that there must be some method in vector also. I will just push like that. So you have to just update where you updated here with this, and once you updated it, let's select the pen color, different pen color, so that we can able to so here you are just, if you found this true and you want to, like, you want the position, you found the position, then at that position you just insert this new interval into this original interval, and once you are done with, break, and then no need to return anything. I mean, you don't need to return anything here because you are already updating, because you are sending with by reference, right? So you don't need to return anything. So this is the roughly signature of your code. So these are the few skeleton for your program, for your overall solution, but I have to think about why we need, and I mean, do I need to update my test case, anything here according to new interface or new skeleton interface? I don't think so. The only thing is you write for some to do for you, that once you submit your code and everything is working fine, you just update your code with binary search logic. So that's it. Yeah, that's it. No need to update the test case. Your test case will work well. You just have to update here. So now you have to move to the IDE. That's it. So let's move to the IDE for final coding route. Move to IDE part now. Let's move to this part now. Okay. Here you have to build some concept quickly. So yeah, so here is your, instead of going here, let's go to your IDE first, so that you can do quick things very fast here. And once you write the code, after that you just integrate to your portal. Okay, so let's build a little bit lighting for you. Okay. It's 4 a.m. almost, so yeah, I took lots. Anyway, so let's move on. So what I have to do here is, let's according to my skeleton, let's prepare few methods quickly. And those methods are how to identify. The first method is check the overlapping, right? And this is like bool is overlap, and this is something like this is your interval 1, and vector int, and this is your interval 2. How do you check the intervals? Simply you have to implement your method. So int diff, you just calculate. And how do you calculate? You just have to min of in 1 dot maybe 1, okay, and comma in 2 of 1. So this is min, minus max of in 1 0 comma in 2 of 0. Okay, so this is your diff. If so, you should say like return, okay, and you say that then true, otherwise false, right? So this is your overlapping method. Okay, then another method you have to is overlap. So vector int merge interval. So I will say merge interval, and I'll just copy these two together because this is what you are doing here. Okay, one more point here. You may and when you are working on some production level code, you have to do these kind of small tweaking, because this makes sense, right? So here also you have to think on it, and if this is not going to change, then I will put it const also, or just okay. Now so return, what you do here is you just have to do two things, right? So you have to return the vector. So min of in1 of 0 comma in2 of 0. So minimum of this, min of this, and max of in1 of 1 comma in2 of, okay. So this is your return value. Why it is saying something? What is this? Expected an expression. Min max, and so that's it. I think this was the mistake here. You just have to return this one, right? So this is one. So merge interval is already there. This is also there. Now another thing you have to do is, another method I have to prepare here is insert interval, right? So and yeah, so void insert interval. And by the way, for now I'm going through the linear search, but later, so as it to do, right, to do or TBD, later change this with binary search. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting from you, and this is your vector int, and this is your original interval, and then vector int new interval. Okay, and yeah, so that's the thing we are doing here. Now, do I need to create anything new here? No. So I'm expecting that whatever the internal intervals, like list of interval passed here, I'm just going to update it. And how I will update? How I will update? So I will check here two things, right? Int n is equal to original underscore interval dot size. So this is one. Now for int I is equal to 0, I is less than okay, so I is equal to 0, I is less than n plus plus I. How you can do it? So if new interval of 0 is less than original underscore interval of original interval of I, and I would say 0, right? This is, so if this becomes, so I found this point, right? So I found this point, and hence so if I found, then break. Okay, and later you have to just do one thing, original dot this dot insert, and what I do here is original dot int dot begin and plus I comma new interval. Okay, this is the, yeah, so one mistake you did here is, okay, so you just move your I outside this word. Okay, that's it. So anything problematic here? I think it's okay, right? Yeah, so that's okay. So yeah, okay. And now, so now I have to use my approach somehow in this method. So the first thing is to add, is to insert the new interval in the given list of intervals. Okay, and so for that purpose you should use this method, and what I pass here is this intervals. Okay, and then this new interval. Yeah, so this is okay. Now you have already now what you have to do now, next thing is start merging the intervals. Now you have to start merging the intervals, and so what you will do here, if you remember so the best approach here is to, okay, so factor output, this is your empty, right? Now if somehow I got this one, example intervals dot empty, so if this intervals got empty, then Okay, so that's it. Output dot push back new interval. Okay, new interval, and return output. Okay, so this is one thing. All right, otherwise interval start is equal to intervals of 0 comma 0. Okay, so this is your start, and end is equal to intervals of 0 comma 1. So these are the two variables you have to define. Try to make things very simple. Simplest approach is the best approach. Yeah, so try to make things simple. So here you have to start I is less than. Okay, so just hold on. Intervals. Okay, intervals dot size plus I. Okay, now why it is so much scrolling, man. Yeah, so now suppose that if overlapping is overlapping, is overlapping is overlap. Okay, so suppose that okay, so is overlapping this start comma end. Okay, and this, and then intervals. Okay, intervals of I will pass this, and yeah, so this is something like intervals, right? Local variable start and end. That's okay. I mean, there is no point, there is no problem in it. So local variable. Okay, so so you do one thing. So you have to build vector int current, and this current dot pushback start, and then current dot pushback end. And instead of doing this, I will pass current here, and if this is equal to false, if so, I mean no overlapping, no overlap concept. Okay, case. If no overlap case, that means you have to insert this one in your pushback, and you will do something like current here. Okay, and at the same time you have to update start with this interval I of 0, and end with intervals I of 1. So these two things you should do. Now else your end is equal to max of end comma this one. Okay, so start is there and end is just need to expand, go on, and before that, once you come out, you just have to this one. Instead of doing this, let's start end. Okay, and finally you have to return output. I hope this will work. This will compile well, no issue. Okay, so something is like that. Okay, some size underscore t, so it's okay. Just do a small modification. This warning also will go. Anyway, so here not the point to discuss now. Let's try to put this code into your IDE. So where is your code? Here. So in this, let's copy it first check run for the local case, and local case is you are getting when things well, yeah, things well, yeah, things well, yes, perfect. Okay, so finally you are able to complete this code. Okay, so if you follow these 4 steps, standard steps which I shared you earlier, then you might have no struggle in debugging on for the questions and problem solving. And this will build your intuition, like logical intuition for any particular problem in the right way, right? In the right process. You place your solution approach in the right process. So please follow these 4 steps. Probably it will help you to build your logical intuition fast and the way you want. Okay, thank you for listening me, and I hope this will work for you. This will improve your capability in logical intuition. Thank you, thanks a lot, bye, take care. Hi, good evening. So I was just going through the LinkedIn today, and then I suddenly found one document on LinkedIn which is very important. I feel that this is quite good suggestion, so I thought let's make it video on it. I hope you like it. So 10 golden rules for solving coding questions in an interview. The first rule is, if we are dealing with top, maximum, minimum, closest, k elements among n elements, then our friend is here heap. Let me repeat again. If your coding question is something related to finding the top element, finding the maximum element, finding the minimum element, and finding the closest k elements among n elements, we should use heap data structure for this scenario. And as per the problem, somewhere you may need max heap, somewhere you may need min heap, but this is the golden rule for this kind of problem where you have to deal with top, maximum, minimum, or closest. Okay. Second one, always if the given input is a sorted array or a list, sorted array or sorted list, we will either be using binary search or the 2-pointer strategy. So thumb rule for any problem where the given input is a sorted array or list, our thumb rule is problem is looking for either binary search or the 2-pointer strategy. Okay, I hope and yeah, so after reading or viewing this 10 golden rule, you please give the feedback or comment so that if anything I have to answer, I will answer it. Okay, coming back, let's third rule. If we need to try all combination or permutation, of the input, given input, we can either use backtracking or BFS. Okay, so for finding the all combination or permutation, those kind of, the problem in which you have something related with finding all combination or something related with finding permutation, your friend or thumb rule is to use backtracking or BFS, breadth first search. These two approach will definitely solve your combination or permutation problem. Okay. Next golden rule. Most of the questions related to trees or graphs can be solved either through BFS or DFS. Most of the question related to trees or graphs can be solved either through BFS or DFS. Golden rule 5. Every recursive solution can be converted into iterative solution using a stack. Golden rule number 5. Every recursive solution can be converted to an iterative solution using a stack. Okay. Rule number 6. For a problem involving arrays, if there exists a solution in order of n squared time and order of 1 space, there must exist two other solutions. One is using a hash map or set, or where their complexity is order of n time and order of n space. And if you want to use no extra space, if your interviewer is looking for, then always think for using sorting, which is order of n log n time and order of 1 space. And after the sorting, you can use 2-pointer concept or maybe binary search, okay, to find the particular element. So in this case, your time complexity will be either order of n and the space is order of n, or order of n log n and order of 1 space. Once again, I'm repeating, for a problem involving arrays, and if there exists a solution in order of n square time and order of 1 space, then there must exist two other solutions. One is using hash and hash map and set, and their time complexity is order of n and space complexity order of n, or using sorting for order of n log n time complexity and order of 1 space. Next golden rule 7, if a problem is asking for optimization, if a problem is asking for optimization, example maximization or minimization, we will be using dynamic programming. So the 7th golden rule is, if a problem is asking for optimization, example maximization or minimization, we will be using dynamic programming. Rule number 8, if we need to find some common substring among a set of strings, if we need to find some common substring among a set of strings, we will be using either hash map or a trie. So any problem where you want to find common substring among the given n strings, you always think your friend here is either hash map or trie. So by both data structure, you can achieve the solution. That is what the golden rule 8 is saying, right? Golden rule 9 is saying, if we need to search or manipulate a bunch of strings, if we need to search or manipulate a bunch of strings, trie will be the best data structure. If we need to search, manipulate a bunch of strings, trie will be the best data structure. Rule number 10, if the problem is related to a linked list, if a problem is related to a linked list and we cannot use extra space, then use the fast and slow pointer approach. These are the 10 golden rules for interview. Generally, your maximum problem will fall under these 10 rules, but there are exceptions. So please excuse if you find some other exception, but these are the golden rules. Most of the interview is covering at least few of the question under these categories. Okay, thank you for this short video. I hope you like it. Thank you.
This is one thing you have to do, and your algorithm should be here like you just try to implement the count sorting. So try to implement the count sorting here to get the time complexity of order of n. Okay, so that is possible, and so I would just try to negotiate on this parameter first, and then how to do it, because one thing to be noted here are you have negative number also in this series. So what I did, so what I'm suggesting here that since even after summing, even after considering all negative and considering all the negative and positive number, I'm still in position to hold all number in positive range by adding some positive offset to each number. Let me go to the example. Suppose you want to store, minus 20 is possible, right? Minus 20 less than equal to num less than 20. So this will be like this. Okay, you want to store this number. Now the above can be transformed to 0 is less than equal to num value is less than equal to 40, right? So that can be transformed easily, right? By just adding